So your pain holds all the potential stressors or all the potential contributors to pain. And when that cup overflows, that's when you get pain. So what it means is like you can have a bunch of shitty stuff going on in your life. You can have knee OA, you can have muscle weakness, you can overtrain sometimes, you can have poor sleep, you can be stressed out, you can ruminate and be anxious. But if your cup's big enough, you can tolerate that stuff. So if you have things in your life that are positives, that build resiliency, then you're pain free. So treatment is either like decreasing what's in the cup or building a bigger cup. So I was asking my patients, like, what am I missing? What's in your cup here? And then our next question is like, what do you want to work on? And the easy ones, like for running, it's like, well, let's work on your running volume. You're doing 4 speed sessions per week and you're not doing any easy stuff, or all of your runs are at like, close to your marathon pace. You got to slow down. So, you know what I mean? Like you got no variety in here. So most of my treatments are still really mechanical, but then people might be like, you know what? Like my work stress has been really bad these past few months. And I cope with my work stress by doing harder workouts. And those, I'm like, well, you know what? When your work stress is bad, those are kind of the weeks to like give yourself a deload week and do a plateau and cut back a bit. Or someone does the opposite where when their work stress is bad, they hardly run at all. And then 4 weeks later, they jump back into their regular training. You know what I mean? So it's always like, what's in your cup? Can we change these things here? Or are there things we can add to tolerate what's in the cup?
Well, yeah, so those would be examples, if I'm understanding correctly, of, okay, the cup's overflowing, your knee's hurting. What can we take out of the cup or modify to reduce the volume of stuff in the cup? But then you also said that you can make the cup bigger. So how might someone do that?
Yeah, so this is where I tend to be really traditional. And I would say it's adding something. So the easiest way would be what you're talking about. That would be adding hip, calf, knee exercises.
Right, okay.
You're going to cut the volume too, and then add stuff like that. It could be, this sounds odd, but like you could add, like sometimes when I'm building a runner up, I'll add warm-ups throughout the run to get more volume. So if they can tolerate 20 minutes of running, we'll do 20 minutes of running, but every 7 minutes, they do a 1 to 3 minute warm-up, like skipping, hopping, karaoke. So it's like running related volume, but not actually running.
Mm-hmm.
So we're adding more would be the idea, or add like another hiking session per week. Keep your running volume the same, but add 2 like hill sessions where you walk up a really steep hill.
Mm-hmm.
And that's nice too, because you can like sell it as a performance benefiting as well. Yeah. Anytime you can check a few boxes, I think that's a good intervention. Or it could be, I always tell people, everyone says you need better sleep. And then I'm like, well, as soon as you tell someone they need better sleep, you automatically decrease their sleep quality.
Yeah.
Because now you're worried about it. So like I always say that like sheepishly. Do you think there's something you could do about your sleep, about, try to, get a little better routine?
I feel like, because I get that, like, I almost feel guilty for not sleeping. Like we've been trying to buy a house last couple of weeks. We just got it done and I've been sleeping terribly. And, thinking that this might put me at risk for injury if I train too much, that doesn't really help.
There's some research on that. Like, although everyone says it, like you kind of go look at it like, but then I would also say, but then give yourself a break. Fine, that's in the cup, your shitty sleep for the past few weeks, but you can tolerate it. People have tolerated it for decades and centuries. So that would be building you up by saying, don't worry about it so much.
Right. One I often use is, I mean, I've been through it myself, but when people have young children, they're expected to have less sleep for a protracted period of time.
Yeah.
But, it comes to an end and they don't die. They don't get injured constantly, right? They cope with it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know sleep's a tough one. Like I almost want to say, yeah, it's okay. You can get by with this. If you can work on it, great. Go ahead. But you don't need to. And that's the point of the cup. It's like there's things in here that don't need to change.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to change. Everything doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like if one thing is doing a bit better, or if you build your cup a bit bigger, like I think one for building the cup, I don't know what you think, would be like joyful stuff in your life?
Yeah.
Like, are you doing stuff with your family and friends that you really enjoy? Or are you just spending all your time working, training, and doing the things you have to do? You know, what are you doing that you just do for fun, you know?
I was just gonna add that that's where I talk about like social hobbies and stuff like that, you know, or give yourself a break. A patient of mine, she said, "Thank you for telling me." I probably told this joke. "Thank you for giving me, you know, the advice to write down the 3 things that I was doing really well that day. That's really helped a lot." And I'm like, "Oh, you're welcome." In my head, I thought, I never told her that, but that's the best advice ever. Everyone's getting that, and that really helped her. It's just like, not like she's hard on herself. And I guess someone told her to like, be proud, but write down what you've done well. It wasn't me, but I got the credit and I took it.
I bet she told all her friends about you as well.
That's right.
Well, I think that's a nice note to end on. And that's certainly like, not to sort of embarrass you, but your course was a real pivotal moment for me in my career. It was so helpful for clearing up a lot of the confusion I had by why people were getting better sometimes, and I didn't understand why they were getting better, and why people weren't getting better sometimes, and I didn't understand that. You know, I had this very biomechanical kind of view of things, and sort of your course really opened up, just like you just talked about with the cup. These are all the contributing factors. These are all the ways you might be helping or not helping. Like, and I was like, okay, right. This is a different way to look at each client and each person. And it really helped remove a lot of the confusion I'd had for the sort of 10 years up until that point. So it's a wonderful course. And you've got lots of stuff. I'm going to link up all your podcasts and stuff and the Optimism site. And I definitely recommend that runners especially check out your stuff because it's so helpful. It's really great.
Yeah, I got to start blogging more. And then I can get better advice on there.
Well, I mean, you've got the podcast as well with
Adam,
Physio podcast. Like it sometimes for runners, it can be probably a little difficult to follow, but it's still most of the time it's not so jargon filled.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll definitely link that as well. And yeah, your blogs are always a lot of fun.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for making the time for us, Greg. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. It's great.
Cool. Well, I will put a link in the show to the course in Edmonton if it goes ahead, and otherwise, let's hope so.